Welcome to the Director's Corner podcast, the definitive resource for forward-thinking professionals in end-of-life care industries. If you're looking to really shake up your digital marketing and connect with families in a way that really matters, well, you're in the right place. We're not just talking about the same old strategies. We're diving deep into creating authoritative content that builds genuine engagement and trust, which is what sets you apart in today's digital landscape.
Today, we are discussing our new blog post, ACD, The Future of Funeral Industry Authoritative Content Engagement.
Right. ACE. Authoritative content engagement. It's really about getting down to what truly matters in our profession right now.
And what's that?
It's trust.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, it's all about showing families your expertise, yes, but also showing that you genuinely care, moving beyond just, the transactional side of things.
Absolutely. And that trust, in our line of work, it's just paramount, isn't it?
It really is.
Families come to us during, incredibly vulnerable times, making huge end-of-life decisions. They need to feel secure.
Exactly. They're not just shopping for services. They need guidance. They need a partner.
Mm-hmm.
And ACE, this whole concept, is designed to help funeral professionals become that trusted guide in their community.
Mm-hmm.
Someone families feel they can genuinely connect with.
Okay. So why is this ACE approach becoming so important right now? What's shifting out there?
Well, think about how families find information today. It's completely different.
Online, mostly.
Mostly online, yeah. And there's so much information available, so families are naturally more selective. And sometimes, let's be honest, a bit wary of traditional marketing messages.
That makes sense. The old ways of just sort of listing services might not resonate the same way anymore.
Probably not. People want to feel empowered, like they're making informed choices.
Especially with something this significant. They don't want to feel like they're just being sold to.
Right, precisely. And ACE is about meeting that need head on. So instead of only focusing on your price list, which is necessary information, of course it's about connecting on a deeper level.
Okay.
Think about educating families, but with real empathy, having genuine conversations, establishing yourself as that knowledgeable, reliable expert in your local area.
So it's really more than just marketing then. It sounds like it enhances the actual service being provided.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. When families feel genuinely informed, truly supported, and importantly, not pressured, they're much more likely to feel comfortable, confident in choosing you when that time comes.
Okay, this makes a lot of sense. So let's break down ACE. Our blog post mentions 3 core pillars, right?
That's right. 3 pillars.
The first one is authoritative content. What does that actually look like in practice for a funeral home?
Right. Authoritative content. This is really the foundation of ACE. It means creating and sharing information that genuinely, truly helps families navigate what is, let's face it, a really difficult time.
So not a sales pitch.
Definitely not. It's about offering real value. Think about detailed guides on funeral planning, things that clearly explain all the options: burial, cremation, maybe green funerals, celebrations of life.
And making it easy to understand.
Yes. Easy to understand, no confusing industry jargon, explaining not just the what, but also the why behind different choices, giving them that context.
That seems crucial, giving them the knowledge they need to make the right decisions for them.
Exactly. What else falls under this content umbrella? Well, grief support is huge. And this needs to be more than just a standard sympathy card.
Right.
Think about offering practical advice on coping with loss, maybe recommending good books or pointing them to local grief support groups. You could even develop your own resources, perhaps featuring insights from grief counselors you partner with.
Okay, practical help.
Practical help. And then there are things like family stories or testimonials.
Ah, yes.
When you have permission, of course, these can be incredibly powerful. They illustrate the care and expertise your home provides through real experiences.
Yeah.
It shows it doesn't just tell.
Right, those personal accounts can really connect with people, build trust implicitly.
They really can. And the last piece of authoritative content we talked about was tackling common misconceptions.
Oh, that's interesting. Tell me more.
Yeah, this is about proactively addressing things people might misunderstand. About funeral costs or pre-planning or maybe different service types.
Demystifying things.
Exactly. By providing clear factual information, you build that trust and, frankly, reduce unnecessary stress for families.
So the key question for all this content is always, does this genuinely help a family facing a tough time? If the answer is yes, you're on the right track with authoritative content.
Okay, that clarifies the content piece really well. So the second pillar of ACE is engagement that builds trust. Content starts the conversation, you said, but how does engagement build on that?
Right. Content opens the door, but engagement is where you actually build the relationship, where those real connections happen. It's about showing the human side of your funeral home, your team.
Okay.
It means being responsive, genuinely empathetic in all your interactions, whether that's responding to a comment on social media, answering an email, or taking a phone call.
Every touch point matters.
Every single one. Each interaction should reinforce that you're there to support them, not just process paperwork.
So being truly helpful and present, what other forms can this engagement take?
Well, getting involved locally is so important. Community connection.
Like events. Exactly. Think about hosting, say, informational seminars. Topics like advanced funeral planning or understanding the grief journey or maybe exploring different cultural funeral traditions in your community.
That positions your staff as resources.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Knowledgeable resources. And it offers genuine value to attendees, whether they need your services now or not.
What about online engagement?
Definitely. Think interactive formats, maybe live Q&A sessions online with your funeral directors,
Oh, interesting.
or offering virtual tours of your facilities, maybe guided online discussions about memorialization options.
Allows for real-time questions.
Exactly. It fosters a more personal connection, which is so vital for building that trust. Remember, in this profession, every single interaction is a chance to demonstrate your values.
That really drives home the engagement part. Okay, let's look at the third component. Strategic influence and local leadership. This sounds a bit broader. How does a funeral home achieve that?
It is broader, but it ties everything together. This is about intentionally positioning your funeral home as the go-to expert, the trusted leader in your community.
Okay. Where does that start?
It starts with consistency, making sure your message, your brand voice is clear and consistent across absolutely everything you do.
Everything.
Your website, your social media posts, brochures, even how your team answers the phone. It should all reflect your unique approach, your core values. It needs to be authentic.
So, a unified voice and identity. What else contributes to becoming that local leader?
Building strong partnerships. Strategic partnerships with other local organizations.
Like who?
Think about hospices, local churches or places of worship, senior living communities, maybe even estate planners or elder law attorneys.
Makes sense. They serve similar communities.
Right. These connections not only extend your reach, but also demonstrate your commitment to the overall well-being of the community you serve. It shows you're invested.
And how do you know if this is working, the influence part?
Good question. It's about measuring the right things. Shifting focus from just, say, website clicks or social media likes.
To what then?
To more meaningful metrics, like how many families are actually reaching out with questions after seeing your content? How many people are attending your seminars? How many inquiries are you getting about pre-planning?
So metrics that show real engagement and trust.
Exactly. Those are the true indicators that you're building that trust and becoming a genuine influence, a recognized leader in your area.
It sounds like implementing ACE isn't necessarily about a massive overhaul, but maybe more of a shift in focus, how you communicate and connect.
That's a perfect way to put it. It's a refocus.
So if a funeral home director listening wants to start adopting this ACE approach, where's a good place to begin?
Well, the great first step is simply to take stock. Look at what you're already doing.
An internal audit.
Sort of, yeah. What information are you currently providing families? What resources do you have? And crucially, what are the questions you hear most often?
Okay. Identify the gaps in common needs.
Precisely. Identifying those areas will highlight where you can start creating more helpful, authoritative resources.
Makes sense. What's next after that initial assessment?
Getting your team on board is absolutely vital. Everyone needs to understand the why behind ACE and how it applies to their specific role, their interactions with families.
So internal buy-in.
Critical. Then maybe start creating a content plan. Doesn't have to be overwhelming. Decide on a mix articles, maybe short videos, those community events we talked about that address the needs you identified. Spread it out over the year.
And the engagement part.
Make genuine engagement a priority. Respond to questions and comments promptly, thoughtfully, on social media, email, everywhere. Remember, especially online, that's often your first impression now.
True. And tracking progress.
Yes. Track what you're doing. Regularly review what seems to be resonating, what content gets good feedback, which events are well attended. Be ready to adjust your approach based on what's connecting with your community. It's iterative.
It really sounds like this ACE approach offers significant benefits for funeral homes willing to embrace it.
Oh, absolutely. In today's landscape, where things are changing, ACE provides a real competitive advantage, I think.
How so?
Well, it helps funeral homes stand out, differentiate themselves from competitors who might still be relying solely on older, more traditional marketing tactics.
Okay.
It helps build those stronger relationships with families, sometimes even before they have an immediate need, which naturally builds lasting trust.
And that trust likely leads to.
Well, it can certainly translate into more families choosing you, both at need and for pre-need arrangements down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, it positions the funeral home not just as a service provider, but as a truly valuable community resource.
Right. So let's try to wrap things up. The funeral industry is evolving, that seems clear.
It definitely is.
Families are seeking more information, they have more options, maybe more skepticism, as you said.
Hmm.
And ACE, with its three pillars, authoritative content, engagement that builds trust, and strategic influence and local leadership, seems to offer a clear path forward.
It really does. It offers a framework for today's funeral professionals to not just navigate these changes, but to actually thrive in them.
By focusing on genuinely helping families through valuable content,
Right.
connecting with them in meaningful ways that foster trust,
Yes.
and strategically becoming leaders in their local communities.
That's it. Exactly. It allows funeral professionals to meet those evolving needs head on. Implementing ACE principles isn't just, good for the business bottom line. It's about fulfilling the core mission of this profession, serving families with compassion and expertise.
And fundamentally, it all circles back to that core element you started with, trust.
Always trust.
Families are actively seeking transparent, honest, compassionate engagement now more than ever.
They are.
And it seems the funeral homes that adopt principles like ACE that prioritize this kind of connection, they're going to be the ones best positioned for the future.
I truly believe that. It's about a new way of connecting with communities, honoring the trust placed in us, and really ensuring the continued relevance and value of the funeral profession itself.
Subscribe and like the Director's Corner podcast on your favorite platform to stay ahead of the curve. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode packed with actionable insights and innovative strategies designed specifically for your industry. Liking and sharing helps us reach more professionals like you, fostering a community dedicated to excellence in end-of-life care marketing. Let's transform how we connect with families together.